I want to share with you a tape that we've got of your work at Highlight. I want to call it Arena. I guess I'm, like so many people, I'm curious about it, but I'm not as informed as I'd like to be.
Okay.
A comment viewers have made on many of my shows. That but let's show you that tape if we can, Ronnie. And this is Betty doing what she does very well, and that is being a very gracious hostess and certainly a person who enjoys her work. Tell us about what's going on.
All right, these are the people coming in to see Highlight at night. This is a betting game, just like when you bet horses. And thousands of people at night, like if you were coming, you know, I get hugged and kissed, and all the women want me to kiss their husbands so they'll be lucky that night, you know. And then the teenagers of all the parents of the men overseas I entertain, their kids are coming to see me now. So it's just a bundle of love every night. It's just fantastic for me. And the game is too much. You'd all love it.
This is in Providence, Rhode Island, and
the Newport.
I'm sorry, Newport. Excuse me. About 40 miles from Providence.
Yeah. All these players are from Spain. We have no American players. Oh, we have one, I beg your pardon, only one. But they're all Basque people, and they all come from Spain, and they don't speak a word of English.
But with your enthusiasm, it isn't necessary.
No, it isn't. I love them. They're 17, 18 years old. Oh, by the way, their careers are over 30.
Wow.
Yeah. Right. Lots of luck, you know.
Now here you are appearing in public for the first time since, well, how many years intervened there?
I'd say 15 years.
So you had 15 years really of, well, shall we say, a rather quiet life and often painfully lonely time.
It wasn't very quiet. It was a nightmare.
I'm sure it wasn't.
Yeah.
And during those 15 years, you lived in New England all the time?
No, I only went there during the last 5 years, Phil. I was in California in my last marriage to Pete Condoli. I have a daughter, Carrie. She's just 16. She was 16 a couple of months ago. She's the one who suffered so greatly during all this because 5 years ago, the first time I made the attempt on my life, my child was taken away from me. And you see what happened, Phil, I was watching television one night with Carrie, and I thought my marriage was going okay, you know. Not great, but I thought it was okay because at least he was pretending to love me. And Rona Barrett came on the air at 11 at night, and Carrie and I were watching it, and she said he was engaged to Edie Adams. Then you had been going with her for 2 years, and it just knocked me out of the box, you know.
You found out on television?
On television. I never knew one word of it till that night. From that time on, I haven't wanted to live. You know?
Are you confident that you are never going to set yourself up again for this?
Oh, yes, I'm very confident. Totally confident.
There are so many... There are so many people who find themselves in similar circumstance, apparently without the drama that yours had, because not many of us have enjoyed the stardom that you achieved. I guess I want you to share with them, I mean, how did you... Obviously, God has helped. You have.
Yes,
that's probably a central
answer.
feature.
That is the entire answer.
You like yourself, too, don't you?
Oh, yes. I never did like me before. But, you know, when you love God, and that's number one in your life, and I'm not preaching it, you know, because, you know, it just happened to me in these last 5 years. If I'd had it before, I'd have been very healthy. But I always put myself first because I had a career. When I put God first, and he is a jealous God, and I love him with all my heart and all my mind and all my soul, I can do anything. I have the energy of young girls at 57. I'm Zooming every night. I'm up to 1, 2 in the morning and ready to go again because I love people. And God has given me back all the love that I always had for all of you, and I'm so happy there are no words for it.
Is a relationship important to you? I mean, are you okay without one?
Oh, yes.
You don't need a guy there.
Oh, I mean, I'm not knocking that. I'm so much...
Well, no, I guess... So, you know,
I like him too young.
But my point is you're functioning apparently with, I guess, 4 marriages sort of indicates that you really did need for a partnership.
Oh, yes, but they don't work for me. You see, because, and I can never get away from this, I love audiences much more than I'm ever going to love a man. I'm sorry. That's it. I love the people. I have something to give that I don't apparently have to give in a marriage. These people understand me. I can't make a man understand me.
You know what's a little discouraging, though, about what you're telling us is that if a woman wants to be a star, she's got to surrender the idea of a marriage.
Oh, yes.
That sounds crazy.
But that's honest. Katharine Hepburn said that in an interview just about a year ago. They asked her why she never married, you know. She said, you can't. If you really want a successful career, your husband and your children will suffer, and mine did.
Hi, Betty. I wanted to ask you who your leading man was, not only as an actor, but also as a person.
You mean during that time? I would say Buddy DeSilva in the early period. He brought me to Hollywood. He became head of Paramount. He produced a Broadway show. I was with Ethel Merman, and then when she took my only number out, he said, okay, Betty, I'll make you a star in Hollywood, and he did. So he guided my career. Then he unfortunately had a heart attack right when things were really moving ahead for me, and then it became Cecil B. DeMille. He was a champion for me, yeah. You're welcome.
Yeah, Cecil B. DeMille, I mean, that's, you know, that's not a man to me, that's a statue somewhere.
Well, he was, to the show business, the picture industry, he was God. He just was magic, you know.
Was he with on the phone and all the stereotype views we have of the big shot producer?
He was a perfectionist, very hard to work for, they said, but if you're also a perfectionist, then you're locked in. My God, I love that man. He was phenomenal.
Yes, what puzzles me all throughout your story is that why didn't you think to diversify? It seems like you've got such a dynamite personality. It appears that, all right, you're a successful actress. Why couldn't you be a successful producer and a successful TV writer? I mean, go into other directions.
Oh, well, it doesn't mean you couldn't be in those fields, but remember, the time I'm talking about, women were totally locked out of it. If you would say a woman could produce a show or direct one, you know, forget it. As a matter of fact, even now it's just beginning to open up. Women really have no breaks in show business, just like everywhere else, you know.
I like you. Hold it, darling. What?
I say, Betty, I like you now 100% better than when we were young.
Oh, thank you. Well, maybe I've developed a little something because of God, you know, and all the tragedies.
Back here. Let's see how many we got.
Have you encouraged your children to go into show business?
My older girls did in high school, and then when I was in Vegas, they would go on. But no, they didn't have any of that feeling. I would never push them to be, but my youngest girl, I think, will be in show business, yes.
Betty, I think at 57, you're in real great shape, and I was wondering, what do you do to keep in such good shape? Exercise?
Suffer.
Yes.
Hi. Yes, Betty. You're just such an inspiration, and God seems to have healed you, and I wonder in your relationships with your children, how is your relationship with your children now?
Well, I haven't seen my older girls. In this marriage that was so bad, they didn't know that I was in great pain, and they didn't understand why their very powerful mother was suddenly turned off and was sleeping all the time, and, you know, didn't want to live. And Candy and Lindsay, my older girls, are now married. I haven't seen them in 7 years, and I haven't seen my grandchildren. But I'm hoping by them seeing me maybe that I'm okay now, at least they'll let me see them, you know.
Who is it that has to give that permission?
My daughters only have to want to see me.
Oh, I see. It has to do with...
Yeah.
So at that time when the relationship, when normally people are relating, there's a space there, and it's hard to reconnect.
Yeah.
I understand that, and we're going to change the subject.
Okay.
I guess, you know, most of us don't have a chance to make $9.5 million.
I know.
Now, you'll pardon me. I don't want to look like a vulture here, but I'm still trying to figure out what the hell happened to it. You know what I mean? Were you?
Well, each husband,
I mean, I've got this notion that some nightmare guy came into your life and invested it badly.
Each man cost me. Each divorce was expensive. I won't tell you each amount that it cost me to get out of each one was a cash settlement. And I didn't care, you know, cash, to get out of something bad. Money does not stay with me anyway. But in it, I had to buy love in the first place. I knew the price was going to be very high, and it was. I was always hoping maybe I'd make it, you know, but I didn't. And maybe that's because, as Father McGuire said, I had to go through all this, Phil, to become what I am now for the people that maybe I can help, you know.